Police officers and first responders wear badges to let their communities know they are here to protect and serve. But it comes at a price. Samantha Horwitz and John Salerno work with police departments across the country to bring valuable recovery, insight resources, and workshops. A Badge of Honor TV brings those professionals to you so we can come together and revitalize communities through a better understanding of what's at stake and what's required for repair. So take a load off and turn up your TV. It's about to get real.
Hey, welcome to A Badge of Honor TV with John and Sam on this Mental Health Monday. We are proudly brought to you by the OBBM Network. And, you know, we can be seen on all your streaming platforms across all your social medias. Please like and share, man, because your likes and your shares get our reach a little better, and it helps our veterans and our first responders get the resources and the treatments that's needed for their mental health injuries, man. What's going on, Sam?
Hey, and we can't forget, if you guys are streaming through Roku, so obbmnetwork.tv. Hey, Dallas Market. So, hey, Dallas City of, we're happy to be on live with you all. We've got a great show. John, I'm telling you, I have to put my phone down and literally walk away with stuff that I am, the videos, and it is out of control. That's no other way to.
You know, I'm blaming this a lot on social media, TikTok, YouTube, all these, because the algorithms are forcing you to watch whatever you are likely to stay on for more than 10 seconds. 10
seconds,
if you're watching a lot of the right-centered media, it's gonna show you all that. If you're looking at the left-centered media, it's gonna show you all that. But you know, so you're getting everybody's getting a little brainwashed, which is
psyops.
It's really making for bad tension between a lot of different people, because you know, these people that are protesting out in the street, I don't think it's not a majority of all the Democrats. I hope not to believe that, but they're just showing you what they want to show you. Same on the Republican side, and it's two different things. But what got me laughing today is, you know, the Democrats are all about get rid of the guns, no gun control, blah, 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 blah. And now this moron is on the corner of his block with an AR-15, you know, saying how he's going to protect his people from the savages, or whatever you wanted to call them, of the militia of ICE. You know, my suggestion to him is just go back in your house and just go put on some, you know, comedy TV, because if you're sitting outside with an AR-15 and one of these law enforcement officers pulls up to you, if you even raise that gun an inch, he is going to shoot you, and he has every right to.
Yeah.
You know, you know, they don't understand. I think they are so brainwashed that they think they can get away with anything. ICE is a true 100% law enforcement entity, federal entity. They are not make-believe cops. They are not mall cops. They are wearing a uniform, doing the job. And if you screw around with them, you are gonna it's not gonna end well for you.
No. And you and I both, you know, we're smiling, and we're not joking about it, because, you know, somebody could get dead in this situation. But you and I have been out there dealing with crowds, doing different things, and we're trained. And you think you can ram a vehicle with a vehicle, raise that weapon 1 inch and point it towards law enforcement, it is not going to end well for that person. And no. I have seen all kinds of things. I saw, you know, they don't manage their triggers very well either, in terms of where they put their fingers and just hanging out with them, you know, right there. And I saw keychains attached around some trigger guards. You know, it's like, come on, people. They have not a clue. And, you know, now that they broke into vehicles and, grab guns. They're like, well, it's not finders keepers.
Right.
No. No.
They think because under the guise of the peaceful protest, which is nothing but.
It's not peaceful.
And I just saw it. I'm watching on my other TV on the news. They went into a church, disrupted a church service this Sunday. And, there are places that are off limits. You'd be surprised. And this is a message to all the Democrats. If you peacefully protest, go to your local lawmakers, go to your politicians to change. If you will not be bothered by ICE. Let them do their job. Let them get the criminals, the sex offenders, the rapists, the murderers, the drug dealers out of your community. And guess what? You will have a much stronger community.
They don't seem to understand that. They just
understand that they're grabbing these criminals.
Innocent people. Well, talk to the moms and dads that lost kids due to the violent criminals running around in their neighborhoods. And it's a totally different story. And, the ICE has to feel like they're caught in the middle because they already know they have a police force that's not going to do anything. They're not there to help, not like what we saw in New York where they really got some serious security. And that's going to leave lasting effects. And during the quiet hours and during downtime, and if it does go bad, close your eyes, you might re-experience and have some things just make it uncomfortable. And, our guest tonight, he's dealt with that and he's come out of it, the other side, and he's created an organization that not only pays tribute to the ones that we've lost, that are heroes in the sky. It's a very fitting name for their foundation. But he's here also to tell everybody about what the organization does and how we can be a part of it and help our first responders, our veterans, and the entire community grow. So without delay, James Collins, welcome to A Badge of Honor TV.
Hey, James.
Thank y'all so much.
Absolutely. It's great to have you on with us. Hey, before we dive in deep to what you all do, please tell everybody watching and listening on their favorite podcast app a little bit about you and how you came to found Heroes in the Sky.
Yeah, so I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I served almost 10 years in the Army. I medically retired out in 2013 due to post-traumatic stress, back injuries, just to try out a whole bunch of other different stuff. And, one of the biggest reasons I founded Heroes in the Sky was built on my prior experiences, because during I'm a combat veteran, deployed to Iraq twice for 27 months. And I saw a lot of things and I did a lot of things that really messed with my mind. And it really gave me triggers that really control a lot of my life. And so, while I was deployed, a lot of my time was spent very active so I wouldn't become complacent. But when complacency hit is when those dark demons start to hit. And I started to feel like I didn't belong. I didn't want to be there. I had a really rough time being isolated from everything I knew in a foreign country. And the only thing I could really focus on was keeping myself alive. And I did that very well, apparently, but that came with the price. And because, I was a part of a lot of convoys, operations, and through cities and other hostile areas, took a lot of shots in or near me, was very blessed that I was never touched. But, I was, for a good bit of the deployment, either the vehicle in front of me would get hit by an IED, the vehicle behind me would get hit by an IED, and that alone gave me 3 confirmed concussions in the TBI registry, which I didn't know about until I'd gotten out and went and did all the testing, and they said, "Oh, by the way, you got 3 concussions." And so that was a really dark time for me. While I was really enjoying the combat time, because it was the only thing keeping me alive, I didn't want to be there. I did not have the courage or the strength to take my own life. I could not complete the act of suicide because I just didn't have the strength. And so what did I do? I put myself in harm's way. I volunteered for every mission leaving the wire. I put myself on, if they needed someone on the 50 cal, I put myself on the 50 cal. Anything I could do to put myself in harm's way, because I legitimately felt like I would be more revered and respected if I came home draped over in a flag. That's how
high risk assignments.
Yeah, and that's how isolation and despair can take control over you in an environment like that. And so I did my time. I got out. 2013. My transition was not an easy one. It was more of a nightmare. I had to personally go through 2.5 years of exposure therapy just to integrate back into society, just to see trash bags again, just to deal with triggers and loud noises behind my head. And these triggers still exist today. They're just more well managed. And so going through all of that, I already had it stacked against me, and most veterans do, with post-traumatic stress. At the same exact time, I was going through a bad divorce. And I went through a bad divorce in 2018. And once I went through the divorce, the only thing I had left was my children. And my children, the ex-wife did whatever she had to do to make herself seem right. And I got labeled the bad guy, and the kids basically wrote me off. And because the kids wrote me off, that was the only thing I was holding myself to. And so at that time, I knew it was time for me to die. And that's what tripped me over the edge, that gave me the strength to do it myself. And I took a retreat, to a PTSD retreat, because I didn't want to do it at home. I didn't want my kids to find me. I thought about this long and hard about who I want to find me and how I want to do it. And it just so perfectly worked out that someone said, "Hey, there's a PTSD retreat for veterans going to Tennessee. You want to go?" And I said, "Absolutely," because that's when I made my plan. I packed my XDM 40 in my backpack. I was going to do it on a beach in Tennessee. No, maybe the retreat would find me, but it wouldn't have been my kids. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want my kids to find me, but I wanted to die. And I was stopped at 2:30 in the morning on a beach in Tennessee by someone who I do not know, who I only knew for like the drive up there. I maybe knew her for like 4 hours, and she wouldn't leave me alone. And she sat there, and I tried to get her to go away, and she said, "No, I can tell you're out here by yourself on a beach at 3 a.m. Something's wrong. I'm not leaving." And she saved my life. Wow. And because she did that, it made me think about all the times I had survived, all the firsthand, all the times I could have died in an IED explosions, putting myself in harm's way, and then when the plan to self-inflict was disarmed, I knew I had a purpose. I had to do something.
Wow, this is so powerful, James.
Thank you for sharing that, by the way.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I know you're connecting with a lot of our listeners. We've got to take a quick break, and our break includes a give back to our warrior class. So stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back with James Collins from Heroes in the Sky.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever. Every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Wow, this is, you talk about, James, you shared a really tough story and connected again. Oops, and there go the puppies. with a lot of people that just to let them know that they're not alone, because we know that the warriors, came back from something that was very difficult, and like you said, during the quiet times, things really ramped up. And we're part of Patriot Mobile for a reason, okay? And it's because they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes that we care about. And putting a stamp on suicide and sending it out so the number becomes zero is certainly why we got into the business of starting a nonprofit and doing what we do. But everybody can support, and how you do that? You go to patriotmobile.com/badge, and you get a free month of service. I've been a customer. My family's been a customer since 2021, and we are so happy we switched. We're setting up country life in a cabin temporarily, and we've got their internet cellular service. The thing has like 85 different antenna things, but it works. And so we're so grateful to have Patriot Mobile as a partner here and to be partners with them. So patriotmobile.com/badge or call 972-PATRIOT and use promo code BADGE again for a free month of service. And now back with James. And John, did you have a question, or did you want to?
We're just waiting for you to finish up the Patriot Mobile commercial. No, James, once again, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story, because sharing every day heals you a little bit more inside. When veterans or first responders get to talk about their experiences a little bit, it lets out that vent. And it shares it with other people, and it doesn't stay bottled up, which is amazing, little by little. And I'm glad you shared it with us. You said you were in a combat zone and you went through the cities, and I know you were in Baghdad and you did all that. I mean, it was very, very chaotic where you were. None of us, most of us couldn't even understand the things that you went through. But when we look at our officers today, and I'm sure you've seen the YouTube videos, and I'm sure you see the news, our officers, our ICE officers, our patrol officers that are going through the demonization of their job, stripping them of their purpose, the constant battle that they have to go to every day, that high energy of being on a heightened alert, not knowing, maybe not seeing an IED, but where's that next gunshot going to come from? Where's that ice bottle going to come and hit me in the face and give me a concussion? Where is my next injury going to come from? And when you're at that state of awareness for 10, 12, 13 hours a day, it doesn't go away. It just doesn't. You can't just shut it off at the end of your shift and go home and go, oh, now I'm soccer dad. You can't do that. Do you think all this stuff that's going on is going to affect these thousands and thousands of officers later on in life?
Absolutely. And because we look at one of the things that Heroes in the Sky does is we not only look at the veteran suicide rates, but we look at how the suicide rates affect each population. And one of the trauma populations that we focus on is the correction side and law enforcement officers. And what a lot of people don't realize about law enforcement officers is the exposure. So as a veteran, I went overseas. I was there for 15 months and 12 months, but I got to come home and kind of reset and get away from like the traumatic events. Well, when you're a law enforcement officer, just like you said, you're on the street, the beat 12, 13 hours a day. And you don't get much time in between each shift to desensitize what you've seen and process that mentally. And because of that, we have some staggering statistics dealing with law enforcement officers and suicide that people just don't talk about. And one of the things we always highlight is, you realize that every 17 hours we lose a law enforcement officer to suicide? And what people don't realize about that is law enforcement officers have heightened encounters with veterans with post-traumatic stress. You don't think that when that officer has to deal with the veteran with post-traumatic stress, that it doesn't heighten the emotional toll on them. Like, and then
Right.
in worst case scenario, what if they have to act on something? What if a weapon gets drawn and they have to defend themselves? That's even heavier on their mental psyche. And so we look at all these things, and because of that, this will affect you long after you take the uniform off. And another thing we try to push is, you don't realize that suicide is the 5th leading cause of death among retired law enforcement or police officers. So after you've taken the uniform off, after you have given up the badge and you're trying to live a somewhat decent streamlined life, these effects are coming back to haunt you years later.
Now, what we talked about in the beginning of the show, I know there was 2 incidents where residents over in Minneapolis were carrying AR-15s out on the street. Now, a lot of veterans, when they leave, the military service, what do? They become law enforcement. They go right into serving and protecting their community now. Yep. You get a veteran who is, say, in your position, who battled triggers for a long time, right? But got him under control. Now he's going through all the law enforcement stuff. Now he's got to approach this knucklehead, the civilian who's this social warrior who's out in the street with an AR-15. That's going to turn out real bad, because it could definitely trigger.
Yes, those turn into triggers for the law enforcement officers, because at what point of this interaction does it become, okay, I have to defend myself? And you don't know what their plans are with that weapon. I mean, if you're out on the street holding an AR-15, and let's say they don't have good, like we in the military, and if you were raised around guns, I call it like trigger awareness, like where your finger is on the trigger. If you're out there, you got stuff hanging on your trigger, you got stuff like all these other stuff on this weapon that make it a liability. What do you think that officer's going to do? That they're going to see that as an immediate threat, because they don't know what they're going to do with it. You don't know who that person is. You don't know what they're capable of. Yep. You don't know if they're going to end your life or not. So what are you supposed to do?
And it goes back to the officer that was struck by the vehicle. We don't know what your intent is. If you comply with the first 5 or 6 orders to step out of the vehicle, and then you fail to comply, now you start going forward. It doesn't matter if you had your wheels turned or not. The focus of that cop is, my life is in danger. She could endanger somebody else. So it's not the initial act. It's what you perceive because of all this rhetoric that's going on. He doesn't want to get killed. He doesn't want to get run over. Same with this guy with the AR-15. He could be sitting on his porch. If he stands up, any way, he can get shot. They're making it for a bad situation for all our law enforcement and our veterans out there. Because I'm sure this, watching the news or seeing social media, triggers you a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't not get triggered by this. My triggers are a little different just because where they derive from, but I can easily see a law enforcement officer that's been serving for years, or even if you're brand new, especially if you're brand new, then you really don't know what that becomes, holy crap, what do I do now? Like, because you don't have that experience. Like you're not a tenured officer. You haven't been on the shift or in the department for years like some people have that may have the resolve to think things through. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a part of me says they want something to happen so that it could get even bigger than this. We got to take our next break. This is not to continue with the gun theme, but I do have a business where I teach responsible, like where your finger should be. Anyway, Let's get to the commercial. We'll be right back.
Look, when you need to respond to an aggressive situation to protect yourself, your family, or your property, understanding your firearm and legal position are critical. Officers know your skills are only as good as your commitment to training. So know what you're doing. So when you're in a vulnerable situation, we can count on your response. Whether you're a beginner or a licensed gun carrier, Carry in Texas offers basic firearms training, Texas permitless carry courses, license to carry, and basic 2A courses so you can understand the responsibilities, situational awareness, and learn the technical skill required when you carry your firearm. Go to carryintexas.com to find the right course for you. Join me, former United States Secret Service agent Samantha Horwitz, on the range for beginner basics, LTC prep, and range practice. Go to carryintexas.com today. That's carryintexas.com.
Hey, welcome back to A Badge of Honor TV with John and Sam, with our very special guest, founder and U.S. Army veteran of Heroes in the Sky, James Collins. Before we left, we were talking about gun control. We're talking about post-traumatic stress, the triggers in all of our veterans and our first responders. But what I failed to do in the beginning of this show is I want to dedicate today's show. Today's show I want to dedicate to your partner, James, D'Angelo Sean. He was your partner, co-founder of Heroes in the Sky, and he just was killed recently through gun violence.
Yes.
Can you say a little bit about that? I don't want to push you onto it, but I think he deserves a little shout out because
he does. He was instrumental in our creation. He believed in me when I didn't have a title, when I wasn't the president of an organization that people are starting to learn about. He believed in me when it was just him and I trying to transition to the civilian side and do the best we can. And so, I took a crazy idea to him. He was like, okay, I love it. Let's do it. And so he set the groundwork for this entire platform that I now run. And so, and unfortunately on Veterans Day of this past year, the wee hours after Veterans Day, he was taken from us by a coward through gun violence. He was shot as he was running away from him.
So sad. Our veterans trying to take on second jobs, provide some safety for certain restaurants and stuff. And now we have criminals taking out people who co-founded. He was a peaceful man. He was not somebody who would incite violence. He was just trying to protect and serve his community and support his family. And he was taken way too early. So our condolences to you and the whole Heroes in the Sky family, on behalf of the Badge of Honor and all of our veterans and our first responders out there. Let's talk about your battle vest that you created. I know you're going to be here in Texas, which God bless. Hopefully the snow pushes away, but you'll be here in Texas on Saturday at Texas Harley-Davidson to donate a battle vest. Tell us a little bit about what that battle vest is all about.
Sure. So Heroes in the Sky Foundation, we operated on 3 core principles. It's honoring our veterans and first responders and public safety officials that have unfortunately lost their internal war. We started with that plan. We started with that mission, but we quickly learned as we got into this sector and dealing with families of this grief that there was a need much bigger than just honoring the warriors. And so one of the key things we've done is prevention, and that involves the families. And so the battle vest serves two functions. It's an awareness piece that we have 19 warriors on it. It could be veterans, first responders, police officers, public safety officials, district attorneys, city officials, whatever it may be, that have lost their internal war. And so the awareness piece will always be saying their name so they do not die twice. But what's the easiest way to keep their name alive? Well, we put their name on a battle vest. We dedicate that battle vest to a public business. And so everyone who enters the business can go look at that battle vest, ask questions. Hey, why are these names on the vest? And we can raise some awareness for suicide. The second part the vest does is the families, because no one talks about the family suicide rate once they've lost a warrior. A mother that's lost a child is 2 times as likely to die by the same fate. And a widow that's lost a spouse is 3 times more likely to die by the same fate. And all of your family members, whether it be a sibling, a brother, a spouse, whatever relationship you are, when you lose a warrior to suicide, you dramatically increase your risk for psychiatric hospitalization due to all forms of trauma. And so the battle vest does exactly that. It's honoring the warriors we've lost by saying their names twice, but allowing the families to be in an environment where they can see their warrior's name on a vest and they can talk about that warrior drives purpose, drives identity, and it keeps our family members here because our family members are the prevention piece. They're the ones left to carry the scars once their warrior has taken their life to suicide. What people don't realize is, and it's starting to become more popular, and we end every ceremony with it, is if you are listening or if you are contemplating suicide, upon the successful completion of that act, you have not, your problems do not go away. You have just transferred your problems to your loved ones. And our families are left too often to carry these problems and these demons that their loved ones left them when they committed suicide. And so the battle vest gives the families, it uplifts the families, it amplifies their voices, it tells their warrior stories, it gives them a reason to be here.
Now, this battle vest that's coming here this weekend, it's going to be the first battle vest in Texas, right? Because I know you've had some in Florida and some other states, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be the first battle vest here in Texas, and it will carry, I think it's 8 or 9 of our warriors from the DFW area, correct?
Yes, it's so we currently have battle vest in Georgia, Florida, Missouri, and then this year we will be in Texas twice, and then Florida a couple times. But yeah, this is the first best in Texas. It's at the largest Harley Davidson dealership in the state of Texas, which we're really excited about to get our awareness out there. And yes, it does feature some of the warriors from Dallas Fort Worth in that area, whether it be the Rolette Police Department or the district attorney, or this vest even features a police officer from Germantown, Tennessee.
And, you know, when we talk about the transfer of pain after the completion of suicide, on another podcast, we discussed, we had Natalie Brett, who lost her veteran husband 3 years ago to suicide right here in the DFW area. His name will be also on that vest. Yep. And she discussed the pain that she received, the pain that was transferred to her, and it was very emotional. And when you see these families, and this is 3 or 4 years later, and the pain has not subsided. She told us about crying in a parking lot about a week and a half ago, just breaking down for 3 hours in a parking lot. So, you know, like, it's so true that the pain just gets transferred to all your loved ones. And that's what this battle vest is going to try to heal a little bit of it. Because now every time they go into an establishment, wherever the battle vest is displayed, someone will read their names. Somebody will see them and remember them and hold them near and dear into their heart. So this Saturday at Texas Harley Davidson, it's a free event. Anybody can show up. It's at 1 Texas Harley Davidson Way right here in Bedford to see the dedication of this battle vest done by Heroes in the Sky. It's going to be an amazing, amazing ceremony. Family, friends, strangers, everybody's invited to honor our fallen heroes.
Yeah, and you know, I just want to say that, you know, weather be darned, because everything that can interrupt this or make this more of a challenge, that means more people need to show up. It's that important. And so it's, you know, we're tested at many different levels by different things or circumstances. But we got to remember those folks on their names on that vest, what their family members are going through. And as a community, we need to show them that they're not alone, and that there are people all around, not just Texas, but around the United States, and the world. That care. You know, we heard in last season, we had Ben and Amanda Holmes on, and Ben's Marine Corps service and his deployments. He was very open and sharing his suicidal ideations and everything that he went through. And James, you talked about finding a purpose. Well, Ben and Amanda, they found their purpose not only in ranching, but in coffee. And it's been, it's been great. Let me put up the graphic here. They've been fantastic partners. East Texas Legends Coffee Company, founded by Ben and Amanda Holmes, reflects their journey from Ben's Marine Corps service and law enforcement career, overcoming PTSI to finding purpose in ranching. Relocating to an East Texas ranch, they identified a need for a local coffee brand. Now they're opening their first coffee shop in Lindale, Texas, rooted in faith, family, and community. Their mission: inspire purposeful conversations over coffee. Drink coffee, be legendary. Go to etxlegendscoffee.com and use promo code BADGE for 15% off coffee and merchandise, or you can just take your phone and put it right up to the screen and get that QR code right there. So again, etxlegendscoffee.com, use promo code BADGE for 15% off coffee and merchandise. Their merch is off the hooks. Cheers. And Texas Legends Coffee makes our show even better. So thank you, Ben and Amanda. And thank you both for your service. I got to see where the coffee shop's going to be, and it's getting all built out. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So looking forward to visiting once they open that. But hey, get the coffee shipped right to your house.
There you go.
Or a T-shirt, or a hat, or
one of these amazing mugs that keep the coffee hot all day long.
Exactly. That's the key. So, James, now back to the show.
Yeah.
Heroes in the Sky, you do a lot of different things. Awareness is a huge piece. And I'm going to put your website up here. If everybody after the show goes and checks you guys out, again, heroesinthesky.org, if you're listening on your favorite podcast app. With the death of your co-founder and everything that you all have seen out there and that you've experienced personally, the mission for you all is, I'll say, very focused, but very inclusive. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. So our mission statement has three key principles that we focus on: awareness, prevention, and education. We've realized that on the awareness piece, that's great, but without prevention, without education, awareness is just that. There's nothing really to drive change in these populations so we can make a difference. And so the prevention we've already touched is the families. But so the biggest part of what we do is education. And so our battle vest ceremonies when we travel serve all three key pillars of our mission. So I'm getting the opportunity to travel and educate people that I've never met in Bedford, Texas, not only the stories and the sacrifices that these 19 warriors made we're honoring, but the families, their loved ones that are affected by their loss. And then it also affects, if you are a veteran listening, it may give you some hope or some motivation that you're not the only one going through it. Or it may make a family feel a little better if there's another spouse out there that's lost somebody to this, when they see how a spouse like Natalie or another one of our advocates, Emily, right? So how they handle it and that they're, after you lose somebody to this, it is a tough time, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel. And there are people you can reach out to. And I'm glad we kind of went into that, because we've added 2 new programs for 2026 at over here in Heroes in the Skyland. So the first one is just it's a podcast that we're about to launch called Breaking the Silence Together: The Aftermath of Suicide. And this podcast is a little different. This podcast is not going to be your conversation about roses and how good life is, and it's not going to be about that. This podcast is the dark side. This podcast is the dark and truthful side of what the relationship looks like leading up to the event, what crisis situations were there, and what the relationship, what it looked like after they lost them, and then how their lives spiral.
Can I just jump in on that real quick? I just want to, because when we spoke with Natalie, when you talk about the things that led up to this. Now, Natalie was oblivious until hindsight is 50-50, right? Then she started putting the puzzle pieces together, going, if we can get those puzzle pieces recognized prior to the event, we have a chance of saving that warrior.
Yes. And that's our goal, is to influence others that may be in that situation, whether you be the veteran who's in a dark place, you're the first responder about to take your life, or you're that family member. You know what? Maybe you're getting some insight now of what to look for. Okay. Oh, I see this. We need to get help immediately, ASAP. And so that podcast is for that. We're going to ruffle feathers. We're going to talk about things people don't want to hear, but it's much needed.
Yep.
And the second program that I'm extremely excited to announce is we're launching a peer support program. It's called the Heroes in the Sky Foundation. It's the Family Resiliency Outreach Panel. And what that is exactly what it sounds. Let's say you are a widow, and we had this actually happen in a live in a TikTok. A widow came in and openly said, "I lost my husband last week to suicide," and I didn't have a response. Heroes in the Sky usually has the response. We didn't have one, and I was like, "Well, wait a minute. We need a response to families like this. So what do we do?" So I got with my team. We created this family resiliency outreach panel. And what this is very simplistic. It is a panel of experts. Experts meaning everyone on my panel has lost a loved one to suicide in some capacity, whether that be a widow, whether that be a sibling, whether that be a father. We have all of those relationships represented on our panel. And so if you find yourself in the immediate onset of a suicide loss, whether it be, oh, this happened last week, or this happened 3 years ago and I'm still struggling, you can go to our panel, you can read their bios, and you can choose the panel member you want to talk to, and I'm going to connect you with them in 72 hours nationwide. And all you do is fill out a simple form saying, talking about your loss and where you are in your grief journey and who you want to talk to. And that panel member can help you through, if it just happened, they can walk you through the death certificate process, what the coroner's going to do, where the autopsy report plays into this. All of these things that in the immediate onset of a suicide loss, the chaotic environment in that person's mind, we can give them structure. We can give them some kind of structure of what stages are next. Okay, you're going to do this next. You're going to do this next. And you're getting that information from somebody who has directly lost somebody to suicide, and most commonly probably the same relationship you lost yours. So they've walked the shoes that you're in, and they know what they're going through. They know the grief, and they're going to help you through the grief step by step.
And they'll be able to visit your website. Is that how it's going to start? Okay, I'm going to put the website back up.
Yeah, so you're going to go to heroesinthesky.org. You'll see a tab up top. I think it's the second tab, but I think it's the About tab. And then you'll look for Family Resiliency Postvention Outreach Panel. You click on it. You read, all the bios are already up. We have one more to add. We're going to get that one up soon. But then you read the bio, you fill out that simple form of who you want to talk to. And then in 72 hours, I'm going to connect you to that panel member, and they're going to walk you through whatever you need.
Wow. That is fantastic. Yeah.
And it's important to note too that it is labeled on the website, and we want to make sure people understand this. That there is a legal disclaimer that no one on our panel, even myself, no one in Heroes in the Sky, we are not mental health professionals. We are not legal advice. We are exactly what we're claiming to be. We are peer support. We are there for you in the moment to walk you through. People with experience in that suicidal loss will walk you through what they went through. But none of this assistance should be taken as legal advice or licensed mental health. If you are legitimately concerned that someone is in immediate danger, we're asking you to please dial 911 or dial 988 and get them the immediate help that they need, because this is not the program for that.
That is such an amazing program. And 3 years ago, and I just keep bringing up Natalie because she was lost. She didn't know who to contact because, you're thrown into a whirlwind. And especially if the person is in the military and no one's reaching out to you, you don't know what are the death benefits. What are my options? I mean, Natalie had to clean her husband's car and have it towed and go pick it up at the impound. She had to navigate all these things by herself. She had no clue. So these are the things that, God forbid this happens to you, you're going to need some resources out there. And these men and women that are on this panel, and I just clicked onto it, on this panel could help you navigate even the slightest little thing that you may not be thinking about, and bring you a little bit more strength in the burial, the burial procedures.
And the beauty of it is that it doesn't matter where you are in the grief process. It could be the immediate onset, you just lost them last week, or you could be 4 years into your grief journey, but someone on my panel is going to understand where you are because they have already lived it. They've already been in those shoes, and they're going to help you through this process as best as they possibly can.
Yeah, paths cross for a reason. I believe that, right? And now here in Texas, along with Badge of Honor, right, we have Heroes in the Sky, which is putting a battle vest in, and we're going to be doing another one at the end of the year. But we also have the Green Star families. Now, Natalie's part of the Green Star families, and that's here in Texas as well. That is where families, it's almost like the Gold Star families, but it's for those who lost a loved one to suicide. And Natalie's part of the Green Star families right here in Texas, so you can get your support as well, more personalized if you're in the Texas area.
Great.
And
go ahead.
And we work very closely with Green Star. We work, that's one of our partner organizations that we really align with what they're doing and how they're implementing their programs to touch the lives of these families that really need it. It's one of those that we focus on our families because that's where we think that, that's the ones we need to try to save because they're the ones dealing with the scars, and they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, and we'll be having them on in the next couple of weeks here to talk about with their mission. So it's a big compliment, and we love to connect organizations, and the fact that you guys are already connected, it's one big family out here. There's not like, it's not a competition, and it's a shame that we have nonprofits out there that's like, we got to do this and we got to be number one, and we don't need to partner, because we've heard it. If you're in this business long enough, you've heard it, and that's not how you heal a community. Everybody has to come together and offer what their specialty is to make things better for everybody. And James, we thank you so much for coming on tonight. The big man upstairs he's in control of everything. And like I said, if there's any complications, anything pushing back against, we know it's not because of him. We know it's the dark forces trying to say, we want to stop you from doing the right thing, from healing families, from healing people, from remembering our warriors. And we're not going to let that happen. So come on out to Texas Harley-Davidson this Saturday. What are the hours?
11 to 3, right?
Yes, 11 to 3.
All right, so get there at 10:30, and you'll want, meet and greet, and put your deposit down for the bike that you want. Don't leave empty-handed, and but take part in this awareness piece, this education piece, and this prevention piece, because the world's a lot different when you're not in it. And we want you to know that don't let the ripple effect keep going and affect your family. Step up, just like James had the courage to do, and get the help that you need, or leave your ears open, because you never know when somebody's going to come sit down at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. James, we wish you safe travels here to
Yes.
Dallas. And again, we'll be thinking about you. We'll see you on Saturday. And I think you're going to have some fun times with John on Friday before that. And we will be in touch for sure. Again, quickly go to heroesinthesky.org.
Let me jump right in on that real quick. All right. When you go on to heroesinthesky.org, the first page shows in memory of D'Angelo Shaw, co-founder of Heroes in the Sky Foundation. And I know you are taking donations for the family of D'Angelo and for all the expenses.
No, at this moment, we are taking donations, but the donations per direction of his children, they have asked all donations to come to Heroes in the Sky to benefit the mission that he started.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic. So go to Heroes in the Sky, donate $5, $10. Don't buy Starbucks this week and donate your $100 to Heroes in the Sky, because you're making a difference. You're doing it in honor of D'Angelo Shaw, who gave his life for the safety of the citizens of his community. He put his life on the line for our country. And the best way to help him is to continue his goal in continuing with Heroes in the Sky and with James Collins.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, James, so much.
We're probably one of the most transparent organizations you will ever work with. IRS tax letters, John can tell you, I'm very quick with those. We highlight exactly what was donated to us. We tell you what the legalities of what the donation are. You have an entire packet. If you donate anything to us, we make sure that if it's tax deductible, you will get that tax deduction.
Absolutely.
Funny you say that. Before we end with you, if you are in our listening ears and you want to have a battle vest donated to you, what are some of the steps real quick, James?
So all you got to do is you can reach me you can go to our website and contact us there. The quickest way is just to email me is james@heroesinthesky.org. Pretty simple. Let me know where you are. Let me know you want a battle vest, and then we'll start the planning process and we can make it happen.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Yeah, we will be in touch very soon, and we just wish you all the best. Again, safe travels. We'll see you soon.
James, see you Friday.
Absolutely. See you very shortly.
All right, brother. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Man, James Collins with Hero in the Sky, going to be here in the DFW area on Friday at Texas Harley Davidson. Come out, meet him. Huh?
Saturday.
Yep,
yeah.
Saturday.
You'll be with him Friday.
I'll be with him Friday, yes.
All right.
We got to go over the ceremony, because this is not just like I'm placing the battle vest and that's it. He does a beautiful ceremony. We're going to have some guest speakers there, and they're going to have the honor guard. It's a beautiful ceremony for the families. And like I said, this is all free of charge. Just come on out and just be part of this, and you'll feel the energy in the room. And if you have any spot in your heart, you're going to feel it emotionally as well.
Oh, that's amazing. Again, Texas Harley Davidson in Bedford, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Saturday.
1 Texas Harley Davidson Way.
Okay. 11 to 3, show up at 10:30.
Yes.
And it'll be good. So, as we say each week, we have lots of things going on. If you are a first responder listening to this and you want to bring a badge of honor to your department to do a 8-hour interactive workshop, we're building wellness and resiliency skills, you can go to a badgeofhonor.org, contact us right there. We're finishing up with Haltom City Fire Department this Friday, and then transitioning onto a PD for the rest. That will take us through April. We've got a fundraiser coming up. John promises me I'll be able to post some details on the website soon.
Yes, I'm going to be getting with Billy Ball very soon, and we are going to have a speakeasy casino night. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of twists and turns in this one. So it's going to be come on out. Remember, seating is going to be limited due to the space. We're probably going to and we'll be able to, you'll be able to purchase tickets online, and It's gonna be a fun night. I'll tell you right now. You don't want to miss this speakeasy casino night.
So it's going to be Saturday, April 18th, and we'll be rolling out the details with time and everything. But it's a fundraiser directly for us, which means you're directly benefiting veterans and first responders all throughout the country, because we do travel with our organization. So come on out then. And for all of the law enforcement out there, you have prayer warriors that are praying for your safe return home every single night. These ICE officers, we are especially praying for you because your nights get interrupted, and sometimes you don't have a place to stay because of what's going on. So stay vigilant, stay in the fight. Know that you have a lot of people praying for your safety and praying over you. Thank you for what you do out there on the streets, and thank you to all of our first responders out there for caring for your community. To all the veterans out there, thank you for fighting the good fight that allows John and I to do a show like this every single week. And to our active duty personnel spread out across the globe, we are praying for your safe return while you defend the homeland and our shores here at home. John, take us home.
Everybody battles. The battles are real, but you don't have to battle alone. Find a battle buddy, find a battle friend, whatever you want to call it. Just find somebody and talk it out. Until next week, Mental Health Monday on Badge of Honor. Peace.
Take care, everybody.
A Badge of Honor podcast is produced for the OBBN Network podcast and protected under copyright law. For content permissions, please submit your request to abadgeofhonor.com on the content page. For OBBN Network programming information, please call 214-714-0495 today.